Well, hi there. Let's do a show. Let's do a show. Welcome to another fun-filled holiday episode of You Can't Do That on Salesforce. Now with 100% more holiday background music. I'm Tom, your friendly neighborhood Salesforce saboteur. Today we are working on YCDRPG Part 8. Part 8 is in keeping with the holiday spirit. Well, our RPG is our goofy role-playing game built on Salesforce because why not? So our hero, Santa Claus, versus our monster, the Abominable Snowman, will, I think, be the theme for today's shenanigans. So let's get started. Code is in repo. We should get an org up so y'all can see that. Let's see what's going on. Let's make sure you can see this code. A little bit of nonsense there, but our last episode, we were working on some UI. Working on some screen flow. And working on some LWCs in our screen flow. And we're going to pick up where we left off. First, I'm going to make sure y'all can see this. See this wonderful org. And see if the gods of OBS will help make this happen. This is our Chrome window. How about that one? Hey, that looks right. Groovy. Let's make this fit a little better. There we go. A little bit more over that way. Cool. Hopefully that looks all right. Pleased to announce that we're running everywhere we tried to run last time. YouTube, LinkedIn, and Twitch are all alive and kicking, so that's pretty cool. Try not to let the holiday music completely drown me out here. All right, there's our org. There's our code. Let's get back to work. Which flow were we working in? I think we were working in the play flow. This is the flow where everything comes together. Eventually. Once it loads. There we are. All right. This is a little... I probably should tweak the spacing of some of this, but without shrinking this down too much, we are down in this screen flow here. Here is where we want to show the characters versus the monsters, you know, a la taking a page from Final Fantasy, Dragon Warrior kind of stuff. So let's see where this is at right now, because it's been a minute since we've all hung out together. So, and I'm going to need to go find that game record that runs everything here. This is our game. All right, let's debug this. All right, so what have we got here? We have some. Apparently, everybody looks like Merlin the Wizard. So here's our heroes, our players, our friends Thor, Hermione, and Merlin. And whose turn is it? Well, that's denoted by this right now, this true false, but we're going to make that look a little bit nicer. And we've also got the hit points of each of our heroes here. We don't have any monsters being displayed yet. We're going to work on that. We're going to add a couple more heroes to our to the mix, and maybe we'll start a new game with Santa and the Snowman. But yeah, here's where we are. So what's in motion here? Well, if we go back to the page, or I'm sorry, the screen. So we have an object called a game character repeater. As we know, Flow does not yet let us repeat over components within a screen, but it's coming. There's some spring 24 goodness on the way. Kind of beta, not quite fully functional. It wouldn't do what we needed to do here yet. My understanding is like you can't bind values to things that seem like would allow us to do this. But once we can repeat on data sources like in any way we want to, we wouldn't actually need this repeater object or this repeater lightning web component anymore. But in the meantime, that's our game character repeater component here in our code. It's getting past the game character record, so what we see here, right? Thor, Hermione, and Merlin. Loops over those, renders what we want it to render, and we're done. Now we don't have an image for each hero right now, so we're just looping on the game character component. And then within that, we actually have a character component. So we've got a couple of layers that we can, work from here. We're using some slots to pass in data or pass in, markup between these. So we get a little bit more reuse. And then way down here, we're just looking at an image out in the world. So we'll reference that a different way. We'll actually make that on the character record at some point, maybe during today's episode. So, so that's rendering here. Now what we want to do is get Hermione highlighted somehow because it's her turn, hence the true. So maybe for right now, we're just going to make the border a different color around that. Nothing super fancy, but it'll get us started. And then we can work on the monsters, which I think are going to work remarkably similar to the characters. So maybe there's a little bit of reuse for us to figure out there. Okay, so next let's see our game character. This is telling us who's active. So somehow we want to indicate down to the character. Maybe we put an active. Let's put an active property on here. And we can use that to tell us what to render. And then up above, back at our game character, now we have this property. So we'll pass that down instead. Things are running a little slow here today. I don't know if it's me or the whole internet. But hopefully it doesn't take too long between saves, so I don't have to bore you all to death with my poor vamping skills. Okay, so we've got is active now, getting passed down to the character. So that is going to tell our component what to render here. A CS expert with LWC, I am not, and there are probably way more elegant ways to handle this. But I think when we render, we can render and call back and change this border That would be that's my theory. I'm sticking with it. So let's give this a class. I'm just going to call it container. And I should... Can we do this with tokens? I swear every time I do CSS with LWC, I gotta remember the patterns that have worked and not worked before. But for right now, let's do... well, what we really could do is let's just take this. I'll put it into a CSS file for this character component. Oops. Okay. And we'll put that in div.container. Oops, I don't know, I lost it. There we go. These heights are, height and dimensions are pretty literal right now, but I'm sure we'll need to make those a little more flexible as time goes on. But that gives us the outer container, and that hopefully stays the same. And then my thought is, can we just grab that and then also have a div.active container? And we'll change the border in that one to just something bolder and brighter. See how that treats us. And then when we, so I think in our rendered callback, we should be able to, okay, I need a query selector. It's LWC query selector. So within my template, I just want to get the dot. I just want to get my whatchamacallit, my container. And then I think we can do an add or remove to that. Is that right? And use class list. Let's steal some of this. Dot container. So if this dot is active, then we're gonna, let's see, how does class list work? Just want to add a class to the list. We could just toggle. Class list dot add active container. Oh wait, we don't need the dot, right? Else remove active container. Okay. Let's see how that does. All right. Refresh. Okay, so maybe we're not... Did I call it dot container? Did I save it as dot container? I guess that's the real question. And then we'll see if we can get some debug up for this too. All right, run that again. All right, definitely need a little debugging here. See what we're getting and not getting back. I don't know if y'all can see that. Let me try to add you in here. Where's our dev tools? Here we go. A little big. Drop that in there for a second. Hopefully legible. Okay, why don't we get what we want here? Let me refresh this one more time. Make sure the console is up to date. Okay. That's in our character, right? Yep, here we go. Okay, let's hit it again. Not hitting what I want it to hit. I have to find the right component here, I think. Let me see if it's... Is it alive anywhere here? Nope. Okay. These are not the droids you're looking for. Here is the... Let's close this, refresh this. This is always kind of a miracle. I can get this working. Here we go. I think we have to debug this instead. Oh, always an adventure. Maybe. Here, try that now. Okay, let's see. Let's make sure that the query selector is coming back with something. Oops. Null. All right, why? Maybe we have to check for the existence of that, but it seems like at this point we would have it. What if we do div.container? I don't think that's going to matter. Okay. So let's mod this to check and see if we don't have that, just carry on. I think a rendered callback might fire a couple of times on us here, so let's see. See if we get it here. Okay, do we have it? No. Okay, we do have it. So active true. Let's run this again. So we do have Hermione Granger. All right. And then the class list. Yep. And then we're going to add. There we go. Very exciting. Yeah, again. All right. It worked. I'm the best. Now I'm an expert. Anyway, there's Hermione highlighted. This presents the fact that we don't have a lot of spacing between these, but we got it. All right. Cool. Now, okay, all right, a little fancier here. If we're not, if we are, I'm going to get totally carried away with all this. The container should always have a, let's give it a margin, a bottom margin of, I don't know, 20 pixels between each other. And then what we could also do is say, hey, let's do a, I should test this and make sure these are actually going to work the way I want them to. We're going to do this on the character. So here, if I were to say, well, actually on the container here, if I said margin bottom 20, that works. And what if I said margin left 20? Cool. Okay, let's use that, because then we can kind of indicate visually, like we'll slide the active character to the right. Well, actually not sliding it to the right or the left. We're sliding everybody else to the right. So that should give us a little more breathing room, and then a little more indication of who's, kind of up next to attack. I will do holiday beatboxing in between every save. How's that sound? We could do that. Oh dear, it says our event ended on LinkedIn. Oh man, the streaming, I'll tell you. The streaming. How we doing out here? Still alive. Okay. I think I ran it like 3 times, but we're learning. We're learning, folks. All right, how's this look now? There we go. All right, I can live with that. Highlighted, move forward. Cool. We'll do some more styling here as we go. Feels like we should work on the monsters now. And I think it's going to be very similar. Because we have to repeat monsters, we need a monster view. Again, I think this, this card concept could be made a little bit more generic. part of me wants to do that, and part of me doesn't. Part of me is also completely content with just saying, hey, we're going to make very literal LWCs for everything that we need, and that'll be that. But let's see, do we need to do anything else at this point? I don't think I need to click anyone yet, because the order is sort of predetermined of who's gonna be fighting. I do need to be able to click the monsters, because if it's Hermione's turn, I want to be able to click which one I'm gonna attack. So that's a little bit of a change. But I think I'm just gonna build up the I'm gonna build it up the same as the just build up build up the components. Not going to be a whole lot of reuse here right now, folks, but maybe we'll do some refactoring if it ever matters. All right, so we're going to need a monster component. We're going to need let's see, what are our objects called here? We're in so game characters was kind of easy because they're just ever present. But if I look at the game quest step, let's go to a step that's still pending. This is where our fight is right now. Game quest step monster, I think, is the component that we're going to build, because I'm going to try to be super parallel, right? If I've got an object and I'm going to render that object, I'm just going to try to follow a pattern of like, hey, call the LWC the same as the object that you're trying to render, just so we don't get completely lost in nomenclature land here. Okay, so we have a monster. That's our top level thing. We're going to create a game quest step monster. That's an instance of our monster in the game. And then I think we need a repeater of that to repeat on. So game quest step monster repeater. There we go. Okay, there's some stuff. Our repeater needs to play nice with flow, the same as our game character repeater. So whenever we're passing around here, I'm going to need that on here. Game quest step monster repeater. And we might need a current turn. I'm going to continue to pass the current turn. Game quest step monster. Wait, did I? Game quest step monster records. Okay, these are game quest step monster. Now, in our character, we get the record in question as it loads. You could kind of see it here when this page loaded. It had to go get each of those. Not a big deal, but it's definitely making 3 callouts. We're going to do the same over on the monster side, so that we can just pass in the monster ID. And now what we also did here was, if there may come a point where we just pass a character record in here, so we can get a little bit ahead of the game. But right now we're just talking in terms of IDs. So let's do the same. Well, let's go back to our repeater. I'm going to need a couple of variables here. I think I'm going to still pass in the current turn. I feel like that makes sense. And then we'll use this. Quest Step Monster Records. Okay, so I think that's going to be... I think that's going to be okay. And then within that repeater, it's going to look a lot like this repeater. Oop. Game Quest Step Monster Records doesn't exist on the component? Oh, because we haven't saved this. Okay. Together some of this repeater. This object doesn't exist yet. I'm just going to comment this out for a minute so we can save everything else and not get totally lost in our files. Okay. So we have our repeater. We're going to pass those in the current turn in the Game Quest Step Monster Records. And then we need a Game Quest Step Monster component, which we're going to use here in a second. If I contrast that with game character, kind of the same situation. So Game Quest Step Monster. Quest Step Monster Record. And I'll go back to our repeater. And that should be all we need for the moment to get this to save and be happy. I'm going to turn the debugger off here in a second. Get all my other windows discombobulated or undiscombobulated. I don't know. Trying to find something. I can't find it. Well, there's that. Okay. Dig through a few things here. Okay, where were we here? There we go. There we go. Everything's saved successfully. We're not rendering anything yet. We have our... So I think our repeater is good. It's just going to take in whatever. Well, I take that back. We're going to need an event to go from kind of up to the, back up to the repeater to be able to tell the flow what monster is being attacked. So that is something we're going to have to work through. We need a couple of events to go up the chain, or maybe just a broader, maybe just a YCDRPG event, right? That could be a platform or a message service event. That I kind of like that, because then we don't have to like have we already have some nested hierarchy going on, so feels like that would maybe a message service would just be easier to intercept at any level, and rather than have to talk up the whole hierarchy. Yeah, I'm kind of thinking. I think I'm leaning in that direction. Okay, so we have our repeater. The repeater still needs to listen for it and then pass it back to the flow. But for now, we've got our repeater. We got our game quest step monster. And if I look at that akin to our game character, then our game quest step monster needs some markup. Game quest step monster record. This is C monster now. This would be monster record ID. And I think this is going to be gonna get rid of this slot for a second, and then actually we need on our monster, similar to our character, we still need these values, or these parameters that the API can pass. And we'll have to do some more around the styling, etc., around that. Let's turn off that debug window. Is it here? Nope. Where are you? There. Get that out of the way for a second. Okay, so we got monster. I'm going to close out a couple of these other components so I don't get totally lost. All right, so our game quest step monster. I think we can save this now. Yep, that's saved too. Okay. So look at the character HTML. Do the same thing in the monster. Save that, and then we can open that slot back up on here. Well, actually, I'm going to leave that. We need to check the, whatchamacallit, we need to check the fields for that. Okay, so far so good. I think everything is saved. So let's go in and configure our flow to get that component out there. Here's our screen flow, and we should have our new game quest step monster repeater. There we go. The current turn is from get turn. And the monsters are whatever we're feeding this here. Oh, let's see. Are we... So that's a record choice set. I forgot about this part because I don't know if we actually have... Selected step monster details. I gotta look back here and see. Get living monsters. I think this is what we want. We want to use get living monsters. Okay. I think that's right. That gets our game quest step monsters. So we're passing in the turn again. I don't know if we're going to need that, but it might come up. And the monsters, so it should have what it needs, but we're just not really rendering anything with it right now. So let's just get back into debug mode because we got to switch back over to the front end here. Okay, we're back in action over here. So now let's make sure that stuff is doing anything. Actually, I guess we can just check in the markup here. Oh, debug is back. Let's see, where are we? We're looking. Here it is. Game quest step monster repeater. Game quest step monster. Yep. And then monster. Okay, so nothing's being passed because we haven't implemented any of the loading mojo for our records. So here on way down at character is where we go get the data, and then we do a little bit of rendering layout. So down here on the monster, we're going to do the same thing. Let's tweak this. Okay, we need the wire. This mojo here is our recombobulator. Using combobulate a lot today. It helps to fix the... So a wire's return data structure looks a little different than what the flow itself passes in. And I think it's also a little different than what if I was to make a SOCL call through like an Apex controller. So this is just taking the resulting data from this wire action and turning it into a more basic key value pair, which is what we see elsewhere in Salesforce. So a little wonky, but that is what it is. So is active. Are we actually passing anything back through for that? Because I could see that kind of getting a little confused here. I think our repeater is good. Oops. Oh. We're missing... sorry, we need to get record. There, that should be a little better. Okay. Let's see, does that make everything better? Okay, hey. Handsome lads. Ghost and Goblin look remarkably like Merlin also. The layout's a little different. Oh, because we don't have any style. We're lacking some style sheet action here. I'm just going to use the same CSS we had on the character on the monster. Active here would... I still think we need margin left and right. It's going to be margin right now because they're on that side. I think the active is a thing, right? That we're gonna... Are we gonna use that? I don't know. Let's leave it. I don't think any of these are gonna be denoted as active right now, but that should get us what we need. A little better. Same style, at least. Okay, so this is what I was hoping for. Let's do a little bit of picture work here in a second, but we can see who's active. We're gonna make these. We need to make these clickable. So we need a click event on the character. Now I think what we actually we probably want the click event on the game quest step monster, right? Because we want to emit the event at that level, not at the monster level. And that would be back to for something for the repeater to listen to, so it knows who the active monster becomes. I think. Yep. But for a minute, let's try to figure out some pictures for our people here. How should we store these? We could do hyperlinks. I don't think Salesforce is completely disappointed by my external references. We could make it an image that we attach to the file, or we attach as a file. That might be interesting. I honestly haven't done a lot of image work with LWC, referencing internal stuff. So maybe we want to go to our characters here. And I feel like we could just upload, like, let's take that tack. Let's upload a file. So I need that related list out here. Oh, right, okay. Okay, let's put the file related list out there. Wait, did I actually do that? Oh, do we not have it on the character layout? There we go. Should have no files. Come on, Salesforce, finish doing your no render thing. Hello? That's funny. Okay, well, that sidebar doesn't want to work, but it'll work over here. So, let's just grab a Merlin picture here. Ew, .ping.webp. I don't love that. Why'd you do that? Is that what it's really linking to? I don't understand why it's doing that. Does it preserve it as a ping if we do that? Yes, it does. Okay, still a ping. All right. So what can our protocol be here? We could make sure that these are some convention in the name of them, so that at least we know that it's the headshot. So maybe we say Merlin underscore headshot dot ping. That'll be our file name convention for, as long as it has underscore headshot, I think we'll say it counts. Okay. All right, that's this UI is being wacky. Hey, Salesforce, come on now. If we just go into files directly. We don't have any libraries yet. Oops, public link. Strange that there's no preview available. Are we going to be able to output that then? Well, let's see. What does the internet have to say? LWC render ping file. Get image content? Oh wait, no, that's I wonder. Hope try not to use any Apex friends. Let's see. This isn't exactly what I want, but let's see. I just want to see where the image source company logo logo equals image. So it's a path. So we just have to find a local path. But my concern is we don't actually. It doesn't want to render a preview of a ping file, which I wonder what that's gonna. How's that gonna work? Downloaded the file just to see if it kind of survived. It did. Okay. So the URL for a Salesforce, let's call it content document, ping file, there's ping URL. So the content version ID, I think, is what we want here. So let's try to reconstruct that link. Just going to open a new tab here so we can cobble this all together. Version ID equals, do I have that out here? That's the document. We might have to query for content version. Wow. From content. Oh my goodness. Typing like a champ today. Let's see. Can we run a little Sokol here? Where are you, Sokol? There's only one, so okay. And I mean, just to check this all back, CRAAQ. Yep. Okay. So this is our version. So let's see if this URL gets us what we want in the org. Huh, page doesn't exist. Interesting. Okay. This might also be a little bit vintage. No, this is fairly recent. I uploaded a ping, which I used the desk distribution public URL in the image. However, it's not shown. I found this method in using the URL as a param. It works fine. curious because that did not... Oh, wait, we got 2 slashes here, so maybe I just did it wrong. Where was our... Interesting. Maybe this doesn't work at all now? I don't want to download, I just want to render. Maybe I do want to download. What if we just try this? Well, that's exciting. Wait. Okay, it did download it. Whoa, what happened there? I got something... I got a mess. Really weird. This seemed to have worked. Let me take that double slash out of there. It's downloading my file, but I don't think it's going to render it. Let's try it. I'll throw that URL into our component, our hard-coded characters here. I think it's in like, you know, the browser's trying to send a download, not a... So I tried this. This didn't really work. So let's refresh our... Okay. Wait. So that did work. Okay. Take it back. I take it back. So we don't actually, and then we don't need the whole path, right? We can go to here. Now the kick here is, can I get okay, that worked. Now, can I get that content version number? I don't want to write any Apex. It would be great to, let's see, how do we get there? We do have a content document link, right? That we might need to navigate through. I got to look at that object. Okay, so this worked. Groovy. I'm going to keep that URL handy because it's going to come up again. Salesforce content document link. That's the object we're dealing with. The linked entity ID. All right, so we need to do something like select ID from, well, more stuff than that. Content document link where linked entity ID equals our, our record. So I'll go back here to Merlin. We're going to have this value. Yep, we're going to have that. And then I think you have to query against something to... You have to query against a linked entity ID or it's not going to like you. So we can get must return one of these. You can't run a query without filters. You can't filter on content document fields if you're filtering by content document ID. You can only filter on, okay, so we're filtering on the linked entity. So our need here is also, right, and, whoops, content document title, like star underscore headshot. How are we doing here? Okay. The title is Merlin underscore headshot, so we got that back. Now on content document, isn't there a reference to the latest version? Last published version ID. This is what we want. So this is the magic sauce right here. I just need this version ID. But I need to query content document links with our linked entity ID. So, I did not get a lot of love from the graph. I don't want to build a SOQL call. I just want to. Can I do this with it? I can't because I need to specify the query parameters. I have an example here. This GraphQL stuff is very new to me. This feels like the right way to go. Again, in the pursuit of not having to write any code, I know I could just go crank out a controller, an Apex controller, and do what we needed to do, but I'd like to live in these bounds if we could. To add reactivity, pass in your variables param. Okay. Let's try to work from this example then. Where is this happening? This is happening down at the character level, right? So we need to do it here. So it looks like we're going to need to import these. Okay. And then how do we pull this all together? I want to wire. Use a getter function to make variables reactive. This operation name is optional. Just give me all this. Oh, I see. So this variables thing, we need that to return. I'm interpreting that as that's how you get this, how you pass those variables in. Okay. I'm going to go way down here at the bottom because this is, wow. Query headshot image or headshot file. All right. And we're going to pass in the linked entity ID. And what are we saying here? What are our property options? Graph API refers to the type in the schema. You took me to a place that wasn't super useful. Schema. No, yeah. Well, I think we were just looking at these options, so. No. Nope, where'd you go? So lost now. Come back. Schema structure, schema conventions. Query. I'm just looking for those data types. Metadata filter. Okay, all right, operators here. Okay, I think these are the types that we can use. So is there an ID? There is an ID. So I think we can use that. All right, linked entity ID, API query. What are we querying again? We're going to query content document link. Where, now I think this might be, I wonder if I can do the, I don't know if I can do, whatchamacallit. Relationship references in here. I have to look that up. This is where linked entity ID. And then EQ. This. Node ID, content, document ID, I guess. I'm going to call this graph variables because I don't want to get all confused here. Operation name, headshot file, sure, okay. Oh, I see. So you could make multiple calls in here. We're just not doing that right now. This is the result. For right now, I just want to output this and see what we get. Okay. I don't know. It's not enough to just query for this, though. We need to get... I don't know if I can get related records back. What we got here? What happened? Okay, you failed to run, but why? That's not super useful, Internet or Salesforce. What happens if I just do a deploy against that file? There are extra tokens in the text that have not been consumed. Offending text, line 18. Huh. Query. Not terribly helpful. Offending token. I feel like there's just an extra thing in here. Oh wait. Where open, close, no. Open. Let's go back to our example here. Where linked entity ID. So we're doing this kind of thing. EQ thing. Yep. Do I have to put that in? Do I have to put that in quotes? Or does it just do that for me based on the data type it's expecting? I could try that, I guess. I don't think that's right. Offending token. Okay, that wasn't the right move. So let's look at some more samples. So, okay, I think I can get I think I can get the related content documents this way, but I got to get the first thing back first. Just going to try to tighten some of this up a little bit so I can read it better. Edges node. So the whole filter is encompassed in this. Oh, I see. So we could actually traverse this way? Okay. Is that right? Well, because, because content document, I just want to say document, link, document, latest version. So I think we can get there from there, but this is still not loving where parent. I mean, this is easy. That should work. I feel like we just have an extra. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. I think there's got to be an extra one in here somewhere. 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3. I'm gonna just take one out. Let's just try taking one out. Okay. That must have been it. And how do we watch this? Let's see this thing at work. Let's see. Where did we hit that? It's interesting. I think it buried the actual query. Or not. There's nothing here that that came back. Huh. Oh, maybe because no. Oops. All right, we got something. We got something back here. It's curious how many times it it queried that or hit that. Do okay, run it again. JSON dot stringify data. Stop. Okay. And I can't really see if we're getting. I'm going to do this. Just so I can see the value there. Graph variables, linked entity ID, linked entity. Everything should line up if I'm reading the example correctly here. Passing in min amount currency greater than or equal to min amount, and then down here. I wonder if we can't just get the value back on that field. Do I actually have to do the... well, I should have got the ID back at least, right? Return so yeah, min amount. I think that's right. Okay, so rerun that again. Let's see if we can figure out what's going on here. It's coming back, it's just empty. And then what does a result look like? Fragments. All right, I'm not going to pretend to understand fragments yet. Fragments seem like maybe a way to break stuff up, but we're still stuck on why can't we see these results? What's a graph API response look like? This is not. I really just want to see a result. Okay. Here we go. Here's a response. So we're getting back. We're not even getting the. Oh, wait. So what if we just return it's giving us this. It's giving us the data, UI API, query account. So query document edges, nothing there. So it feels like, I'm going to guess it's our query that's off, and maybe it's the character record ID that doesn't exist yet. That should be coming in like first. So, okay, yeah, do the variable thing. That's what we're doing. Variables can't be used to pass the names of objects or fields. Okay, I think that's fine. Can we just do that? Could we just say linked entity ID? Linked entity ID? Does it need all the other stuff? Try that. I'm going to get rid of content document ID for a minute here. Just try to get something back. Probably should grab this. Grab the GraphQL client. Okay, download you for okay, so it just needs a, what do we need to do? GraphQL uses OAuth 2 to get an access token, do the thing, requires the access token obtained by authentication. After you create a connected app, and so you got to create a connected app in Salesforce. You need this access token to send. I wonder if I can just get my access token out of. I think I can get that, and then just use it. Use it over there. We'll try that in a second. Let's see if maybe I made this any better or worse. Unsupported method to JSON. What? I have no idea what that's doing. Hey, okay, we got one back. That may not have been a problem after all. Okay, so that's the content document. So it didn't actually, I don't know if I actually saved or I'm running the latest stuff, but it did bring that back. So now there's a way to get the I thought I saw a way to query, not this way, but to get content document, maybe relationship filters. Let's see. That's a response. I want, here, this is what I want. I want to do content document. Yeah. All right. Let's try that now. ID. I want to clean this up. So it's content document. And then what is that? Last published version ID. All right, let's try that. Unknown field argument, linked entity ID. Oh. All right, so wait. So I guess, did I just not save that? Or let's back it up, I guess, because maybe what I did have there was correct. Unknown field argument, linked entity ID. Okay. It seems like this worked. So okay, that's saved. So now do a full reload on that again. Okay. Just going to check data on each of these. Nothing there. Nothing there. Okay. There it is. Content document. I'm going to grab this and I got to un-JSONify this so I can find our way through all of this. Prettify. And then if we go back to our code, data, UI API, query, account, edges, account edges. So within the edges are a list of nodes, and within the nodes are the fields. So now when we got stuff back, we had our edges were empty. Were empty. So if we were to do something like where do we need that? We just need a property, I think, right? We just want a head shot content version ID. And that's going to go down here if we have data. If data dot, well, let's say let edges equal all of this. That is content document link dot edges. Okay. And then if edges length is greater than 0, then this dot headshot content version ID equals edges, the first edge, dot node dot content document dot latest published version ID. There we go. Else we're just going to make this null. Just, I don't know, in case. I think I think we got it. Oh wait, it's version ID dot value, right? Because we have the. And do we need that anywhere else? I don't think so. Okay. And then let's do, I'm going to do, let's see, get headshot URL, return that thing over here. Nope, we're just doing an instrumental tonight, people. There, okay, so that's headshot URL. That would be populated here if we're getting the right thing back. And then if I go out here, I should be able to use headshot URL for the source. All right. If this all works, I'm going to be super happy. We didn't get to Santa and the Abominable Snowman, but we did... Here we go. Let's see. Hey, we got it. Okay. So then we're probably going to get this at some point. No. What? Oh, wait. Uh, there we go. Let's do, I think we don't want to render this. We probably want like a fallback image, I would guess. LWC if let's grab this one. If we have that, then we know we'll get a decent headshot URL back. Otherwise, okay. So instead of a broken link, now we should have a just have question marks for. Question marks are good. And there's Merlin. We got pictures. Now we just need pictures of other people. I don't think it cares about the. So like, all right, let's go find a picture of like Thor. Do I still have my Midjourney? Let's. Let's see. I'm looking for a picture of Thor that's not the obvious Thor that we all know and love in the Marvel universe, but maybe something a little different. And my Midjourney sure is taking a second to do much of anything. Let's switch over to ChatGPT and it can generate something for us. boy. Okay, hold on. I just want a photo, folks. There we go. Stable diffusion is going to come through for us here. In just a few short minutes. The robots are cooking as we speak. It's quite a queue to get some photos. Still waiting. All right, 4 in the queue. I guess I'm going to take whatever I can get here if it's not completely off the wall. We're doing Thor in cinematic default style, so let's see what happens. Well, it did it. Let's see, Thor underscore headshot. Let's go with that, sure. Okay. You might not be terribly surprised by what it looks like, but it gave it the old college try, so let's upload that file for, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to just start, it's just going to start doing Hermione Granger right now, because we let that cook for a minute. Files are a little big, probably a little too big for, you know, for what we're after, but it should be okay. And then this doesn't do anything, right? Very strange. Very strange. I don't know why it doesn't actually render those out. But we should have a Thor picture now. And turn off some of my debug because I'm feeling confident. Hey, look at the Thor we got back. Yeah, so it goes. All right, I've got a Hermione Granger cooking right now, so I guess I need to find a ghost and a goblin too. Everything that we just did makes me feel like I actually want another component, right? Because this is such a specific function. Like at the end of the day, I just want to, like this would be a very, it's Hermione. It's very, it's like if you were drawing the actual actor. Just same thing with Thor. If I was a really good artist but I couldn't do faces right, that's what Thor would look like, and Hermione kind of looks exactly the same. But hey, at least we got pictures, right? Let's see. So yeah, anyway, I'm thinking the actual image rendering we could kind of turn into a component unto itself. That one might be worth repeating because I think what we could do is say, here's an image, or render an image. It's gonna be contained within some wrapper component, and then we want to pass it. What could we pass it? We could pass it the content version ID. That's ultimately what we need. We could pass it the linked entity ID and a filter to apply to the name, because that's the one piece we don't have right now. I do want to go back and test that actually. How do we do a back in our query here, right? Yep. Where do I put my filter in to say where content document name contains something, right? Maybe we don't, well, it'd be nice to just get that back. The backup would be we return that value and then we have to loop through it and figure out which one we actually want to use to render with. But anyway, I don't think we need that page anymore. Let's make sure Hermione's coming back. There we go. Look at that. We need Ghost and Goblin. So I want to take a look at that a second. How would we do, it's basically this, right? This is what we're after. So contact where account industry equals media. Man, it's really, whew, okay. So, all right, we can do this. We need to say, all right, the whole where. is going to be wrapped in an array of ands. Okay. Nope. Nope. Where? This syntax is pretty killer, man. All right, there's our where. Right? And there's our and. Okay, this is our first and. I have to put the whole thing in like that. And then my other and is going to be that other thing we just looked at. Content document. Title, right? And then one more. I mean, it's not, this isn't right. It's not EQ. We have to figure out what it wants, because we want something headshot. Can I just like take this to another page and just nope, don't do that, don't lose it. No. Okay, so maybe this just I'm gonna hold on to that because this could. Of course, I want this to just be something that gets like. Well, that's the thing. I don't think you can dynamically render this right now. Okay, but my filter, my operations equal, not equal, less than, greater than, like, in. Supported for string fields only. Let's see. Are there more likes in here? Behave similar to the where expression. Yep, there we go. Okay, name, title, like. Oop. Okay. think we got it. It was working because we only had one. Right now we only have one image for each of these. So not to say we ever would have more, but or if we have a naming convention like underscore headshot, then hopefully we can query that out. Let's see how we do here. Oh, there we go. Okay. Assuming it's still running the same stuff, then I think we're good. Okay. So, I'm curious. If I said just underscore headshot, I would kind of expect that to break. Because I think it would expect the percent, right? So we shouldn't. Right. Okay. Good. We didn't get anything back. That's good news. Now, what if it was? I mean, we could just pass that in, right? So I'm thinking about this image rendering thing that could take the. So let's see. What would we call it? I'd call it content version image. So it would do this. It would. So it could be past the content version ID, right? I really only want this to run. See, that's the thing. I don't want this to run if, let's see, if this dot content version ID equals null, right? Only do it if we have all this going on. Because maybe we already passed it in, right? But what we could also pass in is linked entity. Pass that in. What else could we pass in? Well, we're going to pass in the title filter. Right. So that's going to look like whatever it... Graph variables, so our graph variables are still... Okay. That's kind of it. um, oh, wait, we want the... invalid wire. Oh, did I forget to wire? I forgot to wire. I forgot to wire. That's it. Okay. Do this. Mm-hmm. Oh, how do we... Let's see. Get... I assume I have to do something like this, right? String? I feel like these GraphQL queries are like, once you get rolling with it, you kind of know what to do. But until you get started, I will never want to rewrite this again. I'm going to just hopefully shamelessly steal and recreate from here. Okay, and then let's render... I think we're just going to render the very basic... We'll have to see what the usage of this like ends up needing to be, because like we're not going to have any... we won't really have access to the styling, so it's just going to sort of do what it does. But I guess if we assume that it's contained within something, then its sole purpose in life of rendering an image should be good. So now, if we take this over to character, and... Oh, and maybe we want to put some if else in there too. We should probably have a backup image that we render. For right now, I'm not going to do that, but we would definitely want to have that if we want to make this a little more... Okay, so that hypothetically is working, and then we can get rid of all of this. This is going to turn into C content version image. And then what we're passing is we're going to pass these two. Where'd you go? Here. So we're going to pass linked entity ID equals, what is it? Character record ID. And content, document, title. Let's space these across a couple of rows. Content, document, title, filter equals head shot. There we go. And then I don't think we need this other stuff in here. Okay. Save that. Big drum roll. Hypothetically, we know our character. Oh, and then we don't need. Yeah, we don't need a lot of stuff in here anymore, right? We don't need these things. We don't need all this wiring. And now this can just stick to getting and rendering the character itself. Oh, hey, Merrick. How's it going? Just saw you sneak in. I'm doing a bad job with the chat. Yes, always forget the wire. First rule of LWC is forget what you need to import and wonder why it doesn't work. Let's see. All right, so in a perfect world, we're gonna get our images back with our newfangled dynamicified imagificator. Uh-oh. Womp womp. You're very kind. Let's see. All right, so we want a picture, but we don't have a picture. So let's see where we're getting tripped up here. To the debugger. To the debugger. Did I refresh that? I don't think I did. Okay. Content version image. Let's see what we're not getting through here. Start here. Oh, forgot the... Okay. Content ID... Oh, wait. So that might be our problem right off the bat. We're not in a... Right. It's not null. It's undefined. I guess we can make it null by default, right? Okay. Reload. Hopefully that was it. We just were wrong logic. There they come. Okay, so that's doing its job. And that's the only job I want it to do, because I don't want to ever have to do that job again. So maybe there'll be some more parameters to pass into that to figure these out. But I don't know. I mean, I think this does the job as, hey, my use case is I've uploaded an image and it's related to a record and I want to show it. I'm using some naming convention for those images, and here's a filter for that, and here's the related record that it's associated with. So that fits the bill here. Maybe it'll fit the bill for other uses, and I feel like I've had just about my fill of GraphQL queries for the day. That was fun. That was a good time. Okay, and now we can use it for monsters too. So that's where we could head to next. Let's see here. Meanwhile, back on monster record land. Let's steal what we just stole from what we just did on the character. Oh, we got that already. Monster record name. Actually, we just need to swap the image reference, I think, here. There we go. Right. We don't really even need the... No, we do want that in a div. Yeah, we want that in a div. Oops. This is actually going to be the monster record ID. We'll still use the headshot convention there. Otherwise, I think that'll work. Okay. So with that in place, the left side should break now. Okay, good. Broken, good. Now let's get a couple pictures of a ghost and a goblin, and maybe we'll add a couple monsters in here too. Where was stable diffusion? Yes. Let's do a ghost in the style of disco? Yeah. That's what we're doing. We are gonna throw this up in another screen. Hang on a second. Here's what we're up to. There's our Hermione Granger generator. Let's do a disco ghost. A disc ghost? I don't know how you say that. this one down a little bit. While that's cooking, let's go find... I think I gotta drop some... Yeah, I gotta update these... update these layouts. We don't have any way to drop a file on here. Oh, did the audio get super loud? Music is way too loud. Oh, okay, hold on a second. Here, let's turn it way down. Let's turn it off. I'm not sure what would have caused it to flip out like that, but all right, related list, we need files. There we go. There we go. Get the chat out here too. Assuming that's legible, I don't know. No, thanks for the heads up. I fixed now. Flipped out as soon as you added the new scene to the screen. Yeah, I feel like there. So I'm literally playing royalty-free music on Soundstripe in a browser window. So I was curious how it was actually gonna like behave. And I didn't even think that. Oh, hey, maybe if I'm adding a new. I guess if I had a window capture on that, I don't know. You can tell how advanced I am with OBS, but yeah, no. Thanks for the heads up. I don't want to. I like having the background music. I just need to figure out how to feed it into OBS a little better. It did not behave. I feel I feel justified in my behavior now. All right, so we got Ghost. We got... Oh, yeah. Check that out. We're going with Disco Ghost. You betcha. Ghost headshot. There we go. And then we need a goblin. Let's do a goblin in the style of... nautical. Right? Nautical goblin. Okay, so our layout should be good now. Let's refresh this. Oh, I love this feature. I don't know why this keeps happening. Very strange. This is even worse than on the characters. Like, at least on the characters, I could upload... This does this weirdness. Now, okay, this does the same thing. So I think if I... Maybe I can back into this if I go to Files. Let's try to upload our Disco Ghost. Okay. Ta-da! And then let's try to associate this with... Yeah, see, this is the problem. I need to relate it to that. I don't want to have to dig through a bunch of code to do that, really, or queries to do it. Bleh. Just work. A Postman collection with uploading and linking documents right into records. Nice. Love it. Feels like feels like it would work better than whatever Salesforce is trying to do right now. This is real weird. Wow. It's just like totally stuck. Now on the other page, I edited the page so that I put the related list. This doesn't make any sense. Like this isn't going to make it better, but this did make it actually work. There you go. It's almost like, hey, put the component on the page so it breaks one of them, and then we can get away with using the other one. All right, ghost headshot. It's a pretty big file. Okay, hey, there's a goblin, Captain Nautical Goblin guy. I like that. It's like a gremlin. Christmas movie. Just saying. Christmas movie. Goblin headshot. Doot. Uh-oh. Something broke. I wonder what did break. We didn't change anything. Well, let me get my goblin picture in here anyway. Then it behaves like the other one. I don't know. I don't know about that. Wait a second, I lost my screen here. Where'd my goblin guy go? There he is. Okay. I don't know what that thing is he's carrying. It's a weird wooden sword shield. Something. I don't know. Let's get back to our... I'm going to close this. Maybe it's just... Oh, there's Merlin. Hello. It must have just... Hopefully it just flaked out. We didn't make any changes to the flow, so I don't know... I didn't make any changes to any code at all. Or data, either. So I'm not sure why that's broken. Let's go back and start up a debug again on this. Put you off to the side here a little bit, sir. Okay. Here we go. Hey. Okay. Cool. Our groovy little image component's working for these guys too. So we see Hermione is up. We need to click. We need to be able to click these. Where would our clicking occur? Our clicking would occur in our game quest step monster component. Do our game quest step monster records have... I'm just going to look at one of these. They have hit points. They have hit points. Yeah. So I think we should be able to show that. Put that in our after slot. So again, if I wanted to go a little more generic, I guess I could use more like a card, just a generic card situation. And then pass in my click event. So game quest step monster, we need to have a click on this somewhere, somehow. Because I want to be able to say, I guess we just wrap this in a div, right? And say on click equals, handle click. And then thought was to just use Lightning messaging service. Keep that open. Yeah, better keep that open. Oh, I really want to keep everything open so I don't forget how to do everything, because that's what definitely doesn't lead to tab addiction. Where were we? We were going to look at Lightning message service. Do I have any messages in here already? I thought maybe no, that was a different project. Okay. Okay, so we need to create a message channel, and then we can have some pub subish kind of stuff going on. So let's remember how to make a message channel. Oops. Try the music again. Message. Okay, and then what do we name this? Whoop. I'm just going to do this. I usually do this super generic and just make YCDRPG. I'm just going to put one field in here, and I'm just going to call it data. We'll JSONify stuff back and forth. I think they all have to be strings anyway, right? Description, fields, open message field, field name, description. It's just Okay, save that. Are you just doing like curl calls? Oh, you said postman. How do you generate the body data? Alright, so we have a channel. So we want the monster to publish the message, right? And then we need the Peter to subscribe. So we kind of have to pick maybe invent ourselves a little schema for messaging. So when things are bouncing all around, there's some kind of method to the madness. So this will be the data that we. Now I think in their example, they have. I'm gonna guess that their message service object has a record ID. So ours is just data. So maybe what we want is data Use an app on Windows and online encoder. Gotcha. Now, are you, I see, I just realized you're working with attachment. Which is, I forget, that's its own object, right? So attachment and content document are two different objects, if I remember right. But probably a similar scenario for content document link. I would just be creating your inserting, probably a lot like what you've got here, to get the document and then to do the link. It's a two-step process, which is always kind of fun. All right, let's see here. So when we click on Game Quest Step Monster, something that's kind of in order to use this. So I'm about to render this in a state where I want to be able to click it, but then I'm going to render it in a state that I don't want to click it. So that might be something we have to pass in to the maybe to the repeater and then down to these records to be able to tell it should you be clicking or not. Unless there's another way to kind of set the stage for basically for whether or not the repeater cares about listening for clicks. And maybe that's our solution. We just tell it whether or not to listen. All right, so that should payload. I guess I don't really need to do the payload thing. I can just put this down here. There we go.
Angels we have heard.
No singing, instrumental. So that's publishing. So I think that's good on the publish side. And then if we're over in our repeater, which ultimately needs to talk back to the flow, we're going to listen over here, or subscribe, as I should say. Oh, and we also have to wire the message context. And we have the wire, which means we need the word wire up there. Message context, record selected is this. Handle message, yeah. And just to be good, so we make sure we clean up our mess, let's do unsubscribe as well. Subscribe, unsubscribe, connect, disconnect, handle the message. I think that's all the boilerplate we need for component to listen. Okay, so handle message, this is actually that's the message dot data. Let's call this message data. Let's do that. And actually need to parse. So that's going to come back like so. And then we can say, I might want to run a test and say, well, hey, what did you just hear? Selected monster to there. And if there's anything to, I think what we want to have going back, a couple minutes left here. What we're ultimately doing, if I look on this screen, is this. Us picking our monster, our game quest step monster, which we might want to send back the full. We might want to send back the full object here. Because we have some other data that's being collected, like the hit points, which is kind of important, so we would need to kind of deal with that otherwise. And then, well, maybe it doesn't matter because we just requery to get everything we need about the monster anyway. So pick a monster is what's coming back. I could actually use an output value of the of the repeater, right? So I could create an output only role for one of these. Let's say selected step monster 3. Yeah, we need to do one other thing. Do I have... we did this over in Oodle Land. Alright, so we need to do a little bit of flow actual change event. To do that or what? We'll find out. This will probably be our last move of the day here. Oh, I broke it. Type ID is not supported. Okay. String, I guess. Okay, so now we would have, I refresh this. I don't think we're gonna get to wire this all up, but just to make sure stuff is moving around. This should now, we should be able to take that value that comes back and use our game quest step monster selected value. Whether or not it actually gets populated, we'll have to test that some more. And then that would also mean that we don't need, we're going to get rid of it yet, but we're not going to need this in a minute because it'll be replaced by the ta-da! So what did we do today? We styled the turn, particularly the player turn. We got images working for our players. We got some styling for the active player. We got our ghosts. We got our monsters rendering the images too. We wrote kind of a generic image render base that goes and figures stuff out for content versions and linked entity IDs and all that stuff with the file object. Not the file object, the content document object, which is files. Clear as mud. We did not make our ghosts and goblins clickable yet. They are almost clickable. I think the messaging is all in place. And so hopefully by next episode, Hermione, who's the active player, will get to click a ghost or a goblin. And we'll pick up where we where the whole process left off from there. So but it's 2 o'clock. Thanks for hanging out for 3 hours. A great holiday, end of the year kind of stuff going on. We'll do a show. I think we'll do another show next Friday. It might depend on just how busy things get. Hopefully next Friday in our pre-New Year's edition. Pick up where we left off. Upload episode 8 to the repo probably tonight. Or in a couple days. That's it. Thanks for hanging out. I'm Tom. Can't do that on Salesforce. And what do you think about background music? Maybe we'll have it more often as long as it doesn't get too loud.